Hi everyone, today we're in Calgary, Alberta, and we're celebrating the sounds of Canadian music at Studio Bell. Let's go explore.
Open in 2016, Calgary's Studio Bell is home to the National Music Centre, which has gathered over 2,000 rare instruments and artifacts and hosts the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Starting off on the top floor, there's a section devoted to the best of Canada, which includes the Canadian Idols and Icons Gallery, celebrating the best that Canadian music has to offer. This gallery features a collection of outfits from Canadian music pioneers like the Juno Award-winning Mercy Brothers, who were patterned after the popular American group, the Everly Brothers. There's a suit and cowboy boots from country singer-songwriter Colleen Peterson, and a suit belonging to country musician Earl Haywood, who was known as Canada's #1 singing cowboy and wrote and recorded over 300 songs. However, guests are probably more familiar with memorabilia from contemporary artists like Canada's Queen of Pop and 5-time Grammy Award winner Shania Twain, who wore this gown at the 2018 Canadian Country Music Association Awards.
That don't impress me much.
This suit was worn at fan meet and greets by Canadian crooner Michael Bublé. Early in his career, Bublé practiced his craft by singing in hotel lounges, cruise ships, and delivering singing telegrams. But since then, he's gone on to amass millions of record sales, 4 Grammy Awards, and 12 Junos.
And I'm feeling good.
This outfit and custom-made electric guitar were worn by Avril Lavigne in the music video for her hit song Girlfriend. And here's a vintage acoustic guitar owned by the guitarist from Canadian rock group Nickelback and used by the lead singer Chad Kroeger in the music video for the song Photograph. One of the more colorful Canadian characters was eccentric musician Nash the Slash, who was known for playing electric violin and performed on stage wearing this tuxedo, sunglasses, a top hat, and surgical bandages covering his face. And fans would recognize this outfit worn by electronic music producer Deadmau5. This mouse-shaped mask was created by the Jim Henson Creature Shop and was featured on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine in 2012. But one of the more interesting artifacts for fans of Canadian music history might be this 1959 Gibson Les Paul, which was owned by Randy Bachman and used for the recording of some of his hits like These Eyes, No Time, and American Woman. Or this harmonica, which was used on many famous tracks by Canadian singer-songwriter Neil Young. Across the way is a section devoted to the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, which was established in 1978 to honor Canadian musicians for their lifetime achievements in music.
And our fans who believed in the independent spirit of our music making and all that crazy stuff that beats at the heart of rock and roll.
This gallery contains artifacts from a number of Canadian Music Hall of Fame inductees, like these Ray-Bans worn by Corey Hart in his music video for the single Sunglasses at Night, which became a hit on MTV and earned the first ever Juno Award for Video of the Year in 1984. This dress was worn by Jan Arden when she made her very first live musical performance in front of her friends and family at her graduation in 1980. And beside it are Jan Arden's lyric books, which included handwritten notes for some of her popular songs like Could I Be Your Girl and Hanging by a Thread. Heading downstairs, the next floor looks at the making of music and has some historic instruments dating back to the 1500s. Like this virginal, which dates back to 1560 and is the oldest piece in the National Music Centre's collection. This square piano dating to 1766, which was made by Johann Zumpf, a German immigrant to England, and was one of the first square pianos ever produced in an English-speaking country. And this intricately painted Flemish harpsichord was built by Joseph Johann Couchet in 1679 and is one of only 2 such instruments remaining in the world today. And not quite as old, but still a prized part of this collection, is this Elton John songwriting piano from the 1960s, which was used by Elton John and his lyricist Bernie Taupin to compose his first 5 albums, including the hit songs Your Song and Tiny Dancer. The plugged-in gallery looks at electronic instruments like electric organs, synthesizers, and keyboards, and supporting components like this Mellotron tape relay from 1971. Mellotrons were used by bands like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and Radiohead to create their iconic sounds, but this instrument is a one-of-a-kind demo model that was showcased at the 1972 London Music Expo. But on the other side of the floor is the Unplugged Gallery, which features acoustic instruments like pianos, harps, and acoustic guitars. Some interesting artifacts in this gallery include the Hockey Night in Canada drum kit, which was custom built for Neil Peart of the band Rush, and used for Peart's percussion-heavy recording of the Hockey Night in Canada theme song. This six-sided German harmonica, known as a Krauswender, is a unique instrument which has 6 different harmonicas in one unit, each tuned to a different key. And speaking of harmonicas, here's Tom Cochrane's harmonica, which was used in the recording of his hit song Life is a Highway. Next up, it's time for a little bit of homegrown country, celebrating Canadian country music by showcasing artifacts from the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame.
Hey, this way to the barn dance.
The walls of the barn are decorated with portraits of Canadian country music legends, with barn dance musicians in full swing. Canadian country music has roots growing back to a number of different musical influences, everything from European folk music to French Canadian influences and even American cowboy culture, which has inspired a number of Canadian country music artists, everyone from Snowbird Anne Murray to country music star Paul Brandt.
I'm just doing my job on the highway patrol.
And even Canadian folk icon Stompin' Tom Connors. This here is one of his many stompin' boards which were used during live shows to protect the stage floor from damage caused by his stompin' foot. You can even try a hand at building your own nudie suit, which are sparkly outfits made famous by country singers in the 1950s. Invented by legendary country and western stylist Nudie Cone, these suits were characterized by bright colors, intricate embroidery, and lots of rhinestones. And they quickly became a staple of country music fashion and were worn by the likes of everyone from Hank Snow to Katie Lang. This acoustic guitar was owned by Jimmy Rankin of the famous Rankin family from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And for good measure, they've even got a pair of Gordy Tapp's overalls. This Canadian country music entertainer was a fixture on the long-running American variety show Hee Haw. Tapp appeared on the show playing a number of different characters, including Cousin Clem.
Welcome to the show.
Golly, good to see you.
It's good to see you.
I don't know what kind of a Christmas we're going to have at home. Pa says this year we're going to have a rubber Christmas.
What kind of a Christmas is that?
Well, we all come downstairs, look at the Christmas tree, and stretch our imagination.
Yeah.
There's lots more to explore at Studio Bell, but before we finish off, I wanted to show you one more piece, which I think is my favorite part of the collection. Taking up a large portion of the third floor is a Kimball theater organ, which was manufactured in 1924. This instrument's made up of a collection of organs, whistles, and drums, each with their own unique sound, and it was used to create the music and sound effects that would have accompanied silent films in that era, and was performed live with each showing. These huge multi-part instruments were a critical part of the cinematic experience in the 1920s and early 30s, and allowed the musician to set the mood and tell a stronger story without the use of words. However, these theater organs began to fall out of favor once talkie films were introduced in 1927, so it's rather rare to see one of these instruments complete and in good condition.
Thanks for exploring Studio Bell with me. Remember to keep exploring and click this link if you want to check out our next adventure.